To start setting up FinoIK, first drag your model into the play space, add on the VRIK component, this one, and normally it comes empty, these things, so let's just reset them. When you're adding your character from Mixamo or Fuse, it will come empty and you need to set it up yourself. You can find these references in here, starting from the hips, the spine, and so on. Expand all of these categories and start filling them up here. The root is the attacker model. The pelvis is the hips. The spine is spine without the number. And the chest is spine 2, this one. Everything else follows its names. So if you go here, you find the neck, and so on. Once you finish these, they will look something like that. I'll just move it here. There we go. Oh. There we go. And let's close that. Now that you have your model here with the fully set up VRIK, it will look something like that. There are some options that I need to point out. First off, plant feet must be off. That's used for when you're not tracking the feet. Then if you're doing the calibration when you press buttons to calibrate, like in this demo here, you need to leave these empty. These will be filled in later by the VR calibration script. For this one, they need to be empty. Yeah, these settings need to be adjusted, and I'll go through them in a minute. So once you set up these, you need to go up into the project scene over here and add on it's here in plugins, in Steam VR, in prefabs, the camera rig object prefab. Add it in here. Once you have that, you notice that there's one object for each controller and one for the camera, which is on the head. You need to add 3 more objects over here, which are the trackers, one for each. Let's call them tracker left, tracker right, tracker hips. Once you add them there, you need to add them into the the camera rig controller by adding them as objects into this objects array. And the order which you add these in is the order in which you need to turn on the trackers in order for them to work correctly. So I'll leave these here. Left, right, hips. Now that these are added, you need to add on the Steam VR tracked object component on each of them. They are down here in the bottom. And remove the index to none, copy component, paste it on both. There we go. So now these are tracking each of the 3 trackers depending on the order they're turned on. Now that you have these, you would want to go into the skeleton and select the foot, each foot, each hand here, and the head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Duplicate them and move them up into the camera rig component. Do the same with the hips and move them up here in the camera rig component. Now add these into each of the tracked objects. Right hand, left hand, and hips. Oh no, I'm missing one. There we go, to the hips. So now these need to be positioned at zero position transform, so reset them. And now when you start them, they will follow the trackers. So in order to help, you can add on a model, and which will display kind of like 3D representation of the tracker and where it is. You can copy these models here and add it onto the tracker here, tracker here, tracker here. You can add one for the head as well. And you need to go into model override. No, sorry, HMD. So it's here in model override. Unfortunately, right now I don't have the Vive turned on, so it says none. But on yours, it will display a list of different objects it can display, and one of them will be a generic headset here at the top. You select that. For the trackers, you again click model override, and there will be a Vive tracker option which you click, and it will create a 3D object of the trackers. And now when you start the scene for play, these trackers will follow your real body, and they will display it depending on the position on the body where they're in at the moment. Now once you have that, they won't be ready to you're not ready to play because your body is not attached to the 3D model. In order to do that, you need to create a calibration script. So you can create an extra an empty object somewhere here and call it calibration object or something else. Move it outside and add it the Easy Controller. Now, Easy Controller is my heavily edited option. If you want to go with VRIK calibration controller, this is the vanilla one, which calibrates the scripts, calibrates the player using the C button, I think, on the keyboard. Mine uses the trigger on the Vive instead. I'll show you how I've done it. Whatever. So yeah, this one says fire 1, if the left mouse button is pressed, or I think left control, it will calibrate. So we can't test it at the moment, but what you need to do is on this calibration controller script, you need to add on the object which has the VRIK component into the IK, and each of these trackers need to you need to select not the controller tracker object, but instead the one we just created at 000. So we'll move these to the body trackers, the hips, right foot, left foot, right hand, left hand, and for the head, camera eye. It's very important. Now once you have these, your body will when you press play mode and you go near the model and you step into his shoes and you press the mouse button, your body will calibrate to the virtual body and to start moving. The problem is it will look very incorrect, and that's because you need to then manually go and edit the position of these 000 objects which we resetted to match where your 3D model, how your 3D model should look like. In order to do that, press play, calibrate the body, and then notice that lift your hand up, or maybe it's best to start with the head. Look at the head in the scene mode, and try to adjust the head tracker here. So in this case, it will be this one. Sorry, I need to correct myself. When I was saying the calibration object script and said camera eye, that's stupid. That's for a different thing. Just put the Mixamo head here. So when you press play and when you go into calibrate, you then go into scene mode and see how the head is attached to the object. It's usually the headset is up above here and the head is very low and it looks kind of distorted. You then need to get the head and move it up and about to match the proper position so that the headset is on the face of the model. You then need to do the same with all of these trackers. So the feet will, most of the time when you start it and the object is at 0, 0, 0, then the feet will be kind of bent, maybe upside down or whatever. Then you need to grab this guy and move it and rotate it. So get the right foot, left foot. So right now they're at 0, 0, 0, which is not where it's supposed to be, because the camera rig is nowhere it's supposed to be. Make sure either all of them are 0, 0, 0 or all of them are on the same coordinates. So in that case, the foot, get the right foot, and you can move it about, rotate it so that this foot looks where it should be. And there will be a tracker model just about here. You need to aim to get the tracker model into the right place.